106.3 exactly 6:30. Lusemba pemu pepe. Adom 106.3. Every time you hear so here, yenso obadi adaroma, ya hoye pa. Bibia ebo ko se binti ahodi ni hwa ma bonto yam. I keep telling you this. Bibia be fine. Ye numbers na ekosoro. Obeka ya na anu bi no me ka kire wo se ehu. Na ehu. Bosumi ye asa gra ye keke ko ni mfimfin o menjindi ye se bosumi we president obe lift ban on social gathering. No, I don't see it coming. Menya president de mini na dwene mo ni ndi nkomo pa me hwede ye kona menye sure se me bosumi yi mu akora be kase yen pa sori yenye party yenye yi yenye sei menye sure efisenka yedie ye na de kwagye samba pa fa sante hwa bont man say over the weekend you could see my wife no of an impon didn't ma me cheap from say team ding na sente sa kaye dot years ano bra me de ntwuma kakra bɔ me ha abɔ me ntem atutum ya de me chini yesi me so bi tuama no mamuna se kusu na ketei twegu na ebo na ka se yanka yempe heavy papa but the point is that who want to be nyo ya kwa sorry ya yediji o I tell you Sanka Easter convention pa na meteta na mapem suit heavy bi na mahye na maje microphone na to me nchen chese to da kwa na em fe kura keke edu praises and worship I am first praise and worship from Reno captain mo be lead na metia say konton afi we mfin kasoro ni ye kwatra so dem ho power fan ko central ha ye dan na ye wie ye no manage dan ni mu papa dan na ye tuma so to na ebo ye no nsuframa no fa pe na bam manage ho pa ke be hudwum saa kwase dan ye hudwum ni aba afode ni ye twa tight dan so ye ntimi nko adentra bribi asi se lockdown ewo Bible mu dia esese woti asese ban on social gathering is also in the Bible as for mon kan hey ese mo kan eti yan shanen so sa mo amu won sorry mo ye nsori man so ye pamacho Sanyame ya wadom na bosom so no yetua ka se de wutua o tight no wunya mfa nkoye mpo a wo check atworo to ho wo be yi ayi to ho se de be ya da e be bie ye no wo kwa sora na de ko woni mo asore account number so a fa tight ne ko tight di ntwem me mo bia na da o na ye nyo no sa na bribia ntimi enkoso wa no na sari ati bia no eyi nso ebetwam yenso besan ye ho akọ Mr. Bomodina for Sharon Sosa Famaye. And the customer woman said, so we are here, would ye Koswana wa quarantine or home, but you must them. And Pia Bonte, if you say, Adiano, who are yare fear beer, ya na, a hard drink, titrumo more pressure and diabetes, no. Yamaha, a common mania yaw, na penisienti, pressure will crew mu pa. Tis only you be Srawa Wadaroma, won't quite hear me, do. In fact, do. If I love radio, then I love more Muti radio, no. So it seems I love radio. Like I said, once I would say radio, no. Radio ne si wa anya eyemu. But when you betia na radio ni radio. So anytime I shout I love radio, I say about him say I love you. If it's a one out here me do won kwa hia me chen bibia wo wiase mu. Tis a one line factor bia me srew hwe ho so ye ma me papa me srew pa show odawro me nya do anya dawro be buru. So na symptoms say okay yes ya na abebo wa. Ya na wo friend say when you cold ya na why day no why day ya keka kire ni nyina no hwe no bi hawa wonim doctor bi number na wafre no na obemu bi afre doctor bi ama wa ebeboa o fre national ambulance nso a 112 na wo dem straight ye beba be fa wakọ se bi ni ho a ye do beba fie se say no ye dru community spread enyo bi na di fie o man bi aso de bran ye biom de aka ye hunu ni nyina no wo ye kuroyim e wo ye manyim e hyehyehye ye ho ewe ye ho ewom wo be hia me ampa cho fa ne sam wo bi to bo ho ban me so be hia wa me fa ne sam wo bi nti me bo me ho ban na ma hye me mask ba hohoro me nsa wo so ahohoro wo nsa ensuo ne sam na ni ho a hand sanitizer wo ho anu abo wade egu nsa ho ayi wade si studio anyway mana atam mfamra embo bi ngu ye nsa ho na chese no ano no se yendambom yedidi abom madam fone metukwan me frinkran yaba mabeto kumase mbeda nchen me firi kumase yaba mbeda nchen dabi me dome maame ne me papa pa agi me fili agi bruta ba makache sante covid mane mesra me because me nyan toka ma me trotro no betre me nim de obekwa akofa bre me Choma. Wa so many wadun so bestra me abeda because me ma baby na. And then me hwe me hanso me hwe wo. If you say madwen ye me say wo bi. Ti me ma me. Eno achi no ye mask ne de ye nkoso na ye nhye. Ye nkoso hohoro ye nsa. Se wo hwe na ye mu bebre wo ho a me hya ya na me te so pa. Me shak kwa chiri kakra na metiya me ya etoda na mehunu mo hyehye me ehwa na afi mani pru so me ni choice me ba no pay ekuta me enti so me ma ye mfa eni agro na oyune ameto ye president ebon homodin militu brebia no oba no ne ya be kasa and right, what chain PPs are hodo, I dequire Sabia hodo no. Anne and so Nanso Kakana Yenyano, I say Yenano, your fans are because even almighty America, or my short PPs, Homunibi, Mencas or my short into Yansu and Shorty. But I had a Yansu, who didn't Timino Yayo, and Yenano. Yankee kay tin kwakua in this moment no enya ade a ye bobi sumbo wo yade ye hu so bi ye bibi no wanye ne ye pa de no so ye beka de enso edru mira esese ye na ye bobo ye hu you love me I love you you help me I help you you protect me I protect you yamin sha sa obey your sa Nan Raya Mother's Day. For Joanna ni ha went to me and was shene mame happy Mother's Day. And in a year went to me. na minni ha mentimi antre radio so anwohye owo me agi papa bi agi gbenze agi heavy abena akyerefo bia sena mena na bia ka kyerɛ me sɛ yɛbɔ ne din no kyerefo bia akyerɛ bia ene me yere akosua sikapa mentimi antena fidie so the right time we will do that. Are you also sa one more morning show no so na yentimi anyo sa we will do it today. Yeah, one mommy from Pennyphobia. We will also love to wish them happy Mother's Day. I am a binum and then one ya Mother's Day won't come patro jai. Yeah, Obi or Sabi Bru, Sabi Nyado. Or more. Then some crofoma wash your one. Okay, can see any uncle. Yakura, Ebin Panka. Won't be sure no sa. Ebiduma bomoding. Mamminum. The mammin sorry. I mean, salute you, Ghana, mine. Oyoba, I salute you this morning. Mano, I mean, Shramo. If you say, ye, na yetiti, hey, Jesus, a crobana, no Mohammed, Obana, no. We ain't where we free dream about that. Yamin Shramo. COVID-19 tidbits, no, the Kerex in collaboration with the Ghana Medical Association. Kerex kills 99% of bacteria. Says yes to bacteria and say yes to life. Deloitte yogurt, more. I need more. A life soap can save your life. Use it. Magdan Shipping Company Limited, your total logistics partner. Petrosol, a delightful experience. And Holland Life Assurance, we've got you covered. One minute, a boy and a day, a year COVID-19, a home, Kobonket and Ketano, and I'm a debra war. Also, Braboy, woman, there's a moment in life that you feel unsure. And it happens all of the time. Sometimes you are not too sure whether that woman loves you or whether that man loves you. Sometimes you are not too sure whether the job that you were in, you are secured. We have doubts or wonder what we need to do next. Why you way Waboka? Why you way? I say, why you way in Siano? Why you way? So sometimes you are just left, thrown out of joint. You don't know what exactly to do next. Just take a moment to remember. The journey of 1,000 miles starts by taking the first step. So it doesn't matter how long, how hard, how difficult that is going to be. Remember once again, there's no such thing as failure. I mean, I didn't book on me a failure. So I have life here. I didn't me. Me with you, know. Me my dead goat. I don't have the word failure and impossible in my books. No. But rather experiences that you learn from that brings you one step closer to what you desire. Stay strong. Start strong. And finish strong. You need nothing. You did Nescafe this morning. It all starts with Nescafe. I'm not so say I didn't person, bro. Quickly, tem so. Young bonny young cock. And then Mubarak Yakubu. And then for John, they produce you Asan and Tiapo, Bonyamin pass. Abaman, why are they doing now? What me about? Tigo Dioko, you krumu akoka. On say, yeah, ever for no ko you krum wed there. A planning him a kunni. And I'm getting kitten or yaned. Waka. Don't know baby drone there. It's no better wing in anchor. So, Citage and the future is you. Agweva Herbal Center Wire Safi and latest foam, your partner for life. one of the Swasne, a day, a Yanko Krata, and Apostle, a day brew war. The new crusading guide, government losing big time with ICUMS. System has no link with the DVLA, whatever. I mean, that's it. And then Charles Rekubrobe witnesses to history, Kumi Prekwa 25 years. So when you get a copy of the newspaper, you're going to see all that. It's a very beautiful picture, though old there. You see that Adom Akufo-Addo and then Dr. Charles Rekubrobe. Also, then hard work will win us December pools. McMenu explains MPP's 3M's 2020 campaign. And then the Herald newspaper, government secrecy on COVID-19 collapsing, national security involvement revealed. Government didn't misreport figures. IMF country rep clarifies. Chronicle, Otabel kicks against reopening of churches. This is not a time for churches to consider gathering together in assemblies because the crisis before us is not going down. Those were his words. New Ga Manche introduced to the Ga Traditional Council and 2 COVID-19 cases confirmed in Accra police cell. Azum Lion disinfect, cleans police facilities. Daily Guide this morning says Robert steals 600,000 Ghana cedis from bullion van. Some suspects were arrested by able police officers. We'll be speaking to them this morning. And IMF bounces NDC clears government over false data. Plight of the mothers in COVID-19. Pragmatic intervention needed to further the course. That's coming from the First Lady. And then many other stories in the various newspapers. So that's it. Obi Dumbio, Obi.
Brofuna arena no face, could you? No, you chroma. Could you? No, and a draw.
A Todayana.
Profuba Rizzi. A Totamio TV. A Todayana. A
Todayana. A Todasna took Oshima, Mia Minima de Kuno. Young come round.
Bibia Beckham. Now, in my mother's dinner, yet a nanomas, a Jaumada maintain your baby. Sabe, we, Yanana Adam, one in the year Hawa. Nyankrompon nankasa ne nsa bɔ wom wɔde form no tie enwene ye nana Adam ewie no ma ne da na ho no yi ne mfempade de bɔ ye nana awa dia kanyina nipa na wo no obia nipa na wo ye na enyamre abosome nkono ni mu ntasu tie emu bre enafom tie na
ma my friend say
oba ko ne papa bi comfortation dodo na friend me chan brekus na ni obedru brekus waje wa boso wa etatwe
papers wa afu ani fam fa be miensa bi pe we na into the fa Ghanaian Times for Chronicle for Daily Guide miensa aye na uwie no a na fa yetimi akofa ye mampani ne no na wato bo ase akire mu yenso e de akire tifo body tell ne enko
yes akronfo bi bullion vine wo amko wi 600,000 Ghana CDC nanso empanyifo atimi abomode atimi achibi 600,000 as a quantity scarce 6 billion
ombu police ni sani fani gumu se kukuru
eya akronfo no
I am telling you
na ede no mu says o ska bi sa eko
na sakronfo de on the
Kojo ensam ni bi ho aye kan watra say o se ahwemu
o se so mo
den na akronfo no mu says ska bi betwam wa ha sa abrese
den ya obi be hu
asemu
ebu nsagum ebu driver no nsagum
na yase amefo
it's about time ho as I say a police for no etu atenten no cause on say oteka ne mu a esidanim
on say omutu no ya na ewa na esi omanim sa na eno no hu ne say common say na community
yeah more short guns dey be side arms no you better because I know we yes oteka ne mu kro betimi yi but AK we are then out train AK e will pick up front
why cry about glass
just wonya comfortable what to the year
and I wouldn't cry so will be to tell
exactly
it was a bone tap when you bounce on an AK-47
I mean Abba modern policy then sharp was for your chroma what can be just
yeah and then the empany for train come on wouldn't say I say COVID-19 no e bia ko pim yourselves be and daily guide obokrata no krata fa to so nsia en wode aba no se coronavirus ye kan ebi akopie mu cells kwadwo
eno ano no
akopie mu cells na cells yi
producer se for Ghanaian Times we
oh ya me mo nyesa
ye kwantem hwe ene adage o
me ne so mu ni adage na so aga de opam vize kwadwo
dabi me no na ye show no ye ba pontan o ga se
na okay ma me fa Ghanaian Times ma me bone tetew Ghanaian Times da obokrata no se gama nchefoforo pa brand new tier rubber nka so nka ja se de wono no waba wo ba be hwetire se na nan matra konyomo nkran kropomu wono ne panyimpa wo betena pakan mu na afei amamra ne amane kwaso bibia wo se etumi ma nkran kropon tumpo bia no wo de honsem aba na yeso osofo mensa wetabele wo de sma ba betudwa na sma wo ka nyina da ene se sore awodo na o manfo ase ai ne ebie no asem yebie
minima asamba ko pere mpese me ka kira asofo na
ebie na utie wo fa osofo usu ansa ono osofo agyi
imiti o
ene abusafo utie o mo
nsam mpese me ba be disturb wo mo
utie o
me yende me time na che wo
utie o
utie o mpa
na wo yase ko hye dem wo wu ba ase na mi di na
me we very simple me say asofo na say yen kwa so me pa so yakọ if you saw na here home send my yes on say home send no ed so hye na anya de bia sa
say ni pado do mu hye man kanya bisi
eti asofo na wo pese kwa so no wo moa yen treatment center na won kan ha no udru ho na ode ne sato so in the name of Jesus COVID-19 na ko
there be wait san di kwadwo sai yeah wo be wu ayen fa Psalm 23 na san yare in the name of Jesus coronavirus move in the name of Jesus coronavirus
now movie men can say Christo need to me or to me
o mon komo but o ma to me nya adwuma ho no mo
but Jesus yedim ye twa John the Baptist ti say we Christo ni say wo dwen adwuma
na kwadwo ya baba voice osofo usu asaka asembi osi Yesu emra ye be kina amere ne nso ye no wodwane ye nyese ebia wosuro wu na emre ne nso ye sabi wo wu de obi abewu no nkyere se wo wu ba no akoy na wa wa
ya president na na dan kwa Akufo Addo akasa enran so na epese yetie na nsem na o sha ase kan ye ni nyina akosi na wie ye
fellow
Ghanaians na fei yewia edukumi be kire mu akire wo ye kama dey na e be kire mu ye the amount the president kan na Nigeria fonte Nigeria fonte
asembia obi
so nim so chief of staff Corona Kuno on vice president na still on tiapo
asemu
and to say no, there's a complete ban on any visit. So when you and high level delegation be a no shipper say Buhari Shiawa Obwa.
Visit no man penny na untimi strana na so mine mu na untimi enkosa wo.
There be so mine mu for no kura no. To meet Buhari. To say the president to Timisha nose mask ni ade no share microphone ade no. Nigeria for man is mo president.
So penny Buhari so nfie konkan. Na ni afi. Wo ho. Na ono akasa hwe na ase ne ho nhye da nye den papa.
Na se na do chen 1 year na.
Na do asem na beka ne. Wono young boys ne kwaje mkro mu dwane.
Akosi amache.
Ya nana.
Bibia boko de.
Adom ne ahwe ya ni krakra yi mu. Na won so e.
Kaka kra ye ho ye.
Wo do birthday be ye ne di to no.
You catch them so kwaji.
We ne di to no. Na the whole Ghana me ma fie pe e de che obi a. Penku titi ekrase de anu bi omi ni baby okonya aba no. Eti ekodi birthday no ba e wo wachi. Na chese mo ma me ma nyankopon sha no onye okese pa. O se party na wonya etono nko ade. Afa ho ka. E ma bi so me so am ko je bede.
Eti yen ko fire president ne no. Na ina inti yura.
Fellow Ghanaians, once again, good evening. It has been 8 weeks since our nation embarked on a coordinated, enhanced response towards combating the coronavirus pandemic after we recorded our first 2 confirmed cases. We've taken the necessary measures of aggressively tracing, testing, isolating, and entreating infected persons and their contacts as a means of containing the spread of the virus amongst the population. Measures such as the temporary partial lockdown of Accra, Tema, Kumasi, and Kaswa, the adherence to enhanced hygiene and social distancing protocols, the ban on public gatherings, and the closure of our schools and our borders have imposed considerable difficulties on all of us. But I'm heartened that we appreciate that they are essential to save lives and livelihoods, and I thank all of you for your continuing cooperation. As of Wednesday, 6th May, a total of 135,902 tests had been conducted, with our country's total number of confirmed cases standing at the time at 3,091, with 303 recoveries and, sadly, 18 deaths. On Thursday, 7th May, 14,046 more tests were conducted, and this included the clearing of the last set of backlogs. Our total confirmed cases then rose to 4,012 positives, i.e. 921 new cases. Our recoveries stood at 323, 8 persons were critically ill, and deaths still at 18. It is important to stress that 533 out of the 921 new cases recorded between last Wednesday and Thursday are factory workers from a fish processing factory located in Tema. All 533 persons were infected by 1 person. Again, let me reiterate that these new 921 cases were from backlogs dating as far back as 26th April and not necessarily over a 24-hour window. The coming on stream of 7 more testing facilities across the country to complement the efforts of the Noguchi Research Institute, the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research, and the National Public Health Reference Laboratory at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital have meant that we have been able to clear all the backlog of tests, and the reporting on the cases of infections since Friday, 8th May, is now current. On Friday, a total of 5,253 tests were conducted, with 251 positives. On Saturday, 2,255 tests were conducted, with 266 found to be positive. For today, Sunday, a total of 3,045 tests have been done, with 160 testing positive. These relatively lower daily numbers of infections are welcome and reinforces the fact that the measures instituted to help reduce person-to-person contact and help defeat the pandemic are working. So, as of today, Sunday, 10th May, the country has conducted a total of 160,501 tests, with our total number of infections standing at 4,700, with 494 recoveries, 5 persons being critically ill, and 4,179 persons responding to treatment. 22 persons, virtually all of them with underlying illnesses such as hypertension, diabetes, and chronic liver disease, have unhappily died. We must understand that the more people we test for the virus, the more persons we will discover as positive, and thus have the opportunity to isolate and treat them. If you do not test people for the virus, you will not find the persons who are positive, let alone isolate them from the population and treat them and prevent them from spreading the virus. Indeed, had we not been proactive in undertaking enhanced contact tracing of infected persons and had relied solely on testing persons who reported to hospital, which is the practice followed by some other countries, i.e. routine testing, our total case count would have stood at 1,413. The other 3,232, i.e. 2/3 of the population of positives, would have been undetected and still be within the population, unknowingly infecting others. I know some political actors will want you to believe that our current numbers represent a failure on the part of government. Do not begrudge them. They need to make such comments for their political survival. On the contrary, we must be emboldened in the knowledge that the 4,700 persons infected so far with the virus have been identified, taken out of the population, isolated, and are being treated. The implementation of our strategy of aggressively tracing, testing, and treating is our surest way of rooting out the virus. This early identification of persons with the virus ensures that they do not spread the virus to others. We are provided with the opportunity to treat them, and it helps us to understand better the dynamics of the virus. The rapid implementation of all of our policies has resulted in our low infection, hospitalization, and death rates, some of the lowest in Africa and indeed the world. We certainly must be doing something right in Ghana. Our country has administered more tests per million people than any other country in Africa. And in fact, the World Health Organization, WHO, has reached out to us to share our sample pooling experience with other African countries so they can adopt this strategy and also ramp up their testing capabilities. It is thus vital that we continue to maintain the measures of enhanced hygiene and social distancing protocols to contain the spread of the virus, as they are the surest way to a quick return to a life of normalcy. All stakeholder bodies I have interacted with over the last 3 weeks in the health, labor, religious, chieftaincy, educational, hospitality, tourism, and creative arts sectors share in this opinion, because collectively we believe they are essential for our very survival. These groups are also being engaged on the way forward towards the easing of these restrictions so that our social and economic lives can go back to normal whilst protecting lives at the same time. Soon those engagements will enable us to design a clear roadmap for the easing of restrictions. In my address to workers and the nation on May Day, I announced the extension of the closure of our borders for 1 more month as the means to continue halting the importation of the virus into our country. Tonight, I've come into your homes to announce that the ban on public gatherings, as set out in Executive Instrument number 64, has been extended also to the end of the month, i.e. 31st May. So during this period, there will continue to be a ban on public gatherings such as the holding of conferences, workshops, parties, nightclubs, drinking spots, beaches, festivals, political rallies, religious activities, and sporting events. All educational facilities, private and public, continue to remain closed. There's still a ban on funerals, other than private burials conducted with not more than 25 persons. It is noteworthy that the police are arresting and prosecuting persons, irrespective of their status in society, who flout these regulations. We cannot allow a few persons, for their narrow, selfish interests, to jeopardize the health, well-being, and safety of the larger population. If you fall foul of the law, you will face its full rigors. Fellow Ghanaians, like you, I would like to see an end to these restrictions. I know the difficulties each and every one of you has been through over the last 2 months. You've had to alter completely your way of life. You've had to stay at home, except for specified purposes. You cannot travel outside the country. You cannot go to church. And you had to cancel activities usually associated with Easter. In this holy month of Ramadan, our Muslim brothers and sisters are having to pray at home instead of congregating at the mosque and foregoing the public celebration of the Eid. Parents are having to bear the extra burden of providing care for their children who, instead of being in school, are currently at home. Operators of trotros, taxis, buses, markets, hotels, restaurants, bars, and nightclubs have lost their patronage of their clients and, as a result, lost much-needed incomes. Significant numbers of people have unfortunately lost their jobs because of the impact of the virus on our economy. Most of us want to hang out with our families, friends, and loved ones in a social setting, but cannot. Uncomfortable as these restrictions have been, we have no option but to stay the course. We can only guarantee the safety of each other if we continue to adhere to them. As I've said before, these restrictions cannot and will not be a permanent feature of our lives. And shortly, I hope to announce the steps for systematically easing the restrictive measures to bring us back to normality. Each one of us, however, can help to speed up this process if we continue to practice the measures of social distancing, washing our hands with soap under running water, refrain from shaking hands, and wearing our masks whenever we leave our homes. These measures must be respected by all. We do this not just for ourselves, but also to lessen the workload on our health workers, who continue to be at the forefront of caring for those affected by the virus and caring for the sick in general. On our part, in addition to the incentive package instituted for all health workers, government has so far distributed the following to healthcare facilities across the country: 4,240,719 gloves, 2,576,333 nose masks, 60,823 goggles, 60,132 liters of sanitizers, 50,770 head covers, 41,992 gowns, 41,000 medical scrubs, and 30,783 N95 face masks. Further, we extended this gesture to other frontline actors engaged in the fight, with the presentation of 5,000 PPEs to members of the media. And tomorrow, Monday, 11th May, 10,000 domestically produced face masks and more money will be delivered to the National Commission for Civic Education to enhance its capacity to undertake the important work it is already doing. Let me once again thank the healthcare workers, including all those responsible for the tracing, testing, and treating, for their heroic contribution to the fight against the pandemic. They will be long remembered in our history, In advance, I say a hearty aiko to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, which celebrates its 60th anniversary on Tuesday. This weekend, I chaired a 3-day cabinet retreat at Peduase Lodge to examine in detail measures aimed at reviving and strengthening our economy. I'm happy to reiterate that government is putting in place a resilience and recovery plan with the overarching aim of finding more resources to strengthen the productive sectors of the economy to ensure sustained economic activity. We're rolling out a soft loan scheme of 600 million cedis in this month of May to support micro, small, and medium-scale businesses. And as you know, the commercial banks, with the support of the Bank of Ghana, have also instituted a 3 billion cedi credit and stimulus package to help revitalize industries, especially in the pharmaceutical, hospitality, service, and manufacturing sectors. The Minister for Finance is working tirelessly to find additional resources to supplement these amounts, including the resources to finance the construction of 88 district hospitals, Agenda 88, and 7 regional hospitals, which he will announce at the appropriate time to Parliament and the nation. Before bringing this address to an end, it is critical that I raise one significant side of the fight against this virus, which has not been given enough emphasis, but has to do with the change in attitude that will impact on our lifestyles. That has to be one of the permanent legacies of the pandemic. We have to improve our hygiene, our fitness and exercises, our eating, generally our style of living, which will boost our immunity to disease and the virus. For instance, we're told that the key vitamins that fortify our immune system are vitamins A, B6, C, and E. Fortunately for us in Ghana, all of these can be found in many of our foods, such as oranges, kontomire, millet, cashew nuts, crabs, plantain, okra, dawa, brown rice, and mushrooms. Following a good diet, patronizing our healthy foods, exercising regularly, ensuring our personal hygiene, and improving our lifestyle habits should become part and parcel of our daily routines, which will help bolster our immune systems and help us in the fight against the pandemic. Fellow Ghanaians, this virus, as we have seen the world over, is no respecter of persons and has wreaked its havoc on every country on the planet. We can defeat it if we continue to look out for one another and remain each other's keeper. We're fighting a common enemy, and it is imperative that we do not allow religious, ethnic, or political differences to get in the way of certain victory. So we cannot allow a few persons who wish to use these differences to scuttle our collective fight to succeed. Over the course of our history as a people, we've had to overcome several trials and tribulations: slavery, imperialism, colonialism, tyranny, and dictatorship. And we have overcome them all, so that, with the help of the Almighty, we are today building a free, independent state. A state that, despite the urgency of the crisis, is governed by democratic institutions and respect for fundamental human rights, especially freedom of speech. That is as it should be, for we are determined in our generation to realize the dreams of freedom that animated and inspired the founders of our state. I'm confident that we will overcome this pandemic as well. This too shall pass, for the battle is the Lord's. May God bless us all in our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong.
Eti Yaman Penny, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and I'll say Ninkano.
Jim FM.
Edu,
Kwajo,
Ubofane, Akushi,
my penina kasa intini me.
Na ye boko.
Inti mame shase.
Enra kasa wi ye da mi frɛ papa bi na o frɛ no say captain na o ahin am show me drive that time nso ni toro na me nem so man akasa wi o wa kasa bibiri di hin na nse o say yan kwa sore
There's ono ho di here no.
Yen sala. Yen go school.
Asem.
Ya kan ni na yo no anasama.
Say no ma kitikiti bu aya na no ma fo hwe.
Say no an ye peti.
Nipa do do manya bi. Wo mo ho ato mo.
Say more 4,000 say.
Bo de mebe no so. Wo ye no to nchen a. Say ye dey lockdown be ba ye mfa lockdown ma. See a because sorry, young sorry. See a
lockdown, and lockdown.
Now,
somebody total.
Yeah,
some of a cobium, dear.
Utim and Penina now, Canada, and that's womb.
Nana,
and that's what dear, a womb. Maybe say Madagascar and Quantum Wardrobe.
Ghana, how great.
Not in the Niania, my penny, a bruise. I know they say, and yet, I could have been. I dare be yummy one yummy yo. Say African countries, including ECOWAS, et me issue statements of my disassociate from Madagascar. I don't know almost Omaniano.
Ah, you don't know?
Could you say
it is a free France, any Germany in a buyer. ECOWAS, but it's associated to a
oh, there be, say, oh, dear, Monson, remember, dear, so bet you more free one, dear.
Excellent. Can one say a drone famra? Now, Obi or Wobi or Ghana, the Obi or Nigeria, the Obi or Ivory Coast, the Obi or Ha. Then federal no say be kwa na nkwa
share say ye be clinical trials.
Yen share yo ye ma
we
disassociate ourselves from the
that is Africans for you.
I said no de nke ya yentem do.
I was like really
there been kasa nke ya yentem o ka kasa se bema me fra wa so memem
me sin nke ya
kan memem
I was like really
Africans are near ye Ghana hey on say ye can send social media edibu one year young habenro animtia and na do minimu ani sabi because it didn't dey dro and na covid no be kwanya tum na herbalist wa Ghana ha traditional medical practitioners wa Ghana ha frɛ na yen kan kyerɛ obi wa aduru a afa KNUST afa FDA afa your friend is saying ba kwemampon ana odi ye adwuma dada obi wa brochire wonya covid onomie ne symptoms nyina akɔfam wɔde akɔno go che say yɛmoa no onye clinical trial say many patients a yɛde be try no aduro no dadam
there be say mfama
aka aduro naka
there be say yes sir
there be
no you better your clinical trial
that's what I'm saying that Africa have a huge problem
you have problem
clinical trials is one sa brofkasi wo obi super say why dey share ne mfa ne ma na mfa ne ko try a
won fa bra me menom
tie kumi
na wo yare ni
da be nye jo wo yare fa bra me menom
obi eji ne hu si o me se boy bu otakrade da bi o send me message esa say yenye aduro na ye pe obi e be ma ne covid na ye de aduro no aso na hwe a why ready so obeye
hwe
ye open my nya announcement say ye pe obi de ne ho be ma
ma mention one critical thing be about this area me medical doctor so I still stand to be corrected yare no ye say eye wa den esi uti ye oya na wa boa
na wa fie
na cold no your country say
unya pepu
okay malaria chew na what plus unya dru plus na malaria plus I plus ni mu a sa ne ma we nyina eton
say no mo bobo so de ene na na te dada
okay and as I say eduro na wo mode san wuntimi ebi ni pharmacy shop obekwa akoto ye pharma onto sa hydroxychloroquine no ye de sadai nya malaria
abunu ya
malaria duro asa wo mote America ne wo mote Europe wo mo ba ye Africa na wo so wo kɔ na wo nya malaria ye quarantine wa hydroxychloroquine ye de wo and ye de ma wo nom Say wako Africa kunya malaria.
Te no unya malaria.
Say we and our mother sacro COVID-19 is here. Woman any other medication. Near the antibiotics be account depending on one underlying factor. Near the antibiotics be a wash one mount. No one on now na okrono. Nyame ye wadom na ote apa fine. One ti apo no wu ade nyame nko. Sa hydroxychloroquine ye wo ebibiduru ahodo okrom ho a ye more powerful than hydroxychloroquine. I'm telling you.
Oh, me dey say minya 3D dia itabia na ya menom. Malaria fever nom tabia no na ya menom.
O de ne ye friend say
minya ye tim so edutwa betes.
One year nro no wo mu super me ne amen scientific akudi nkomo and it me say ya wani mu at least yan so nhwe ne yanka say enye yen try
wo de
ni nyina ye matra makwa
wo de hold on edro ni ho there's no edro
enti na try dia na nyina yen try bia
wo de mame kwa ahoma no somra yen kwa ahoma no somra Dr. Thomas Anaba, Executive Director, Africa Center for Health Policy and Research Analysis. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, Captain Smart.
Mpachona, it's a saying.
Yes.
Yes, so you're pa. If you buy a virus, by we are seeing a Ghana, yes, so you dear. Your president and maybe I know because especially from the time I know call lockdown no be seen and and so on and Kasai. Mami Musao opinion on the statement here, President Beck, and then we'll move on to the other part of the interview. Thank you.
In fact, President Kasai and yes, at least for once, there's something good he has done regarding COVID-19. And I want to attribute this to the many civil society groups, to the health workers, to very well seasoned, respectable Ghanaians who have made calls for government to reason with science and put other science aside in the management of COVID-19. In fact, the most important thing that made our organization happy was when he said he was going to extend the restrictions until the end of May. Because who happening is it Pioneer Fishing Company? Just one person infecting several people, and the source of the infection, some of us conclude to be the turnstile that they touch, all of them touch to enter the factory. We think that is the main source of the infection, of the transmission. And these people are yet to trace, public health is yet to trace all the contacts and secondary contacts for them to be tested. So it would have been suicidal for the government to go ahead, maybe to say the restrictions have been eased. It causes a lot of challenges. But at least this will still put it in the minds of people that the coronavirus is still live in Ghana. It's increasing its numbers. The plateau they said we've reached has not been reached, and the scientific community that challenged it did very well. And I'm sure the president listened to the scientific community, because that was a very terrible misinformation to the president and decision makers. When he said that all those criticizing are trying to get limelight in politics. Look, not everybody who talks wants to be a politician, but inherently we are all politicians. There is nobody in this world who is not a politician, who doesn't fight for his rights, who doesn't want his society to be good. And anybody who wants his society to be good is one way or the other a politician. So, if that is it, then all those who spoke should continue speaking. At least then they can get the limelight, because Omubua country no. The Omokasa na president here now was planning decisions no. Now decided they obey Amayano a good thing. So Omubusuye. The Adam is giving I was not happy about is that the president still feeding with wrong information. And I'm online.
Wrong information.
Am I online?
You are still online, yes.
I think they are still feeding the president with wrong information.
How?
I said it because the president made it clear in his speech that Ghana is leading in the testing in Africa. That is a palpable lie, and these advisors and data suppliers should go back and review the statistics in Africa. South Africa is leading us terribly. South Africa is over 300 and something thousand. We are not somewhere near it. So we can conclude that Ghana is leading in the investigations. That should not even let us make a decision. We should take decisions that will benefit our country, whether South Africa is doing what or not. Let's only look for positive things. Let's not always be looking that we have learned in something. Let's make it better and better so that our people would be happy, the life of our people will be protected. One thing I'm also happy that the president did is that he did not copy the wholesale way the developed countries are managing the case in his last speech. At least not copying what other countries are doing, lifting the sanctions, the restrictions. That form of plagiarism was not done in his last speech, whereby we would have just followed blindly that other people are easing restrictions, so we should also follow and ease restrictions. And I think that he should continue doing that because coronavirus. Important call is give hospitals and health facilities more PPEs. We heard him talk about giving PPEs to other institutions like the journalists and then the rest. It's good to protect them, but the frontliners, the real frontliners who are in the hospitals, who are seeing all sick people, are those who are really vulnerable. And if we are giving journalists, it's good, but let's prioritize the health workers because if they fall sick, like it happens, they'll close the whole hospital and no one can get the health care again. So let's rather look for means to help other people after we set the health facilities with the needed resources for them to combat the coronavirus. These are my submissions regarding the president's statement yesterday.
Doc, who are Africa's Executive Director, Africa Center for Health Policy?
I can't hear you. Your voice is too low.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can hear me. Doc, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, very faint, but I can hear you.
Very faint, but you can hear me. Okay. I'll try to shout. Don't worry. Maybe that could help us. Africa Center for Health Policy. Do you have any form of policy for herbal medication?
Oh, herbal medicines, we have called from the very beginning when China started publishing use of herbal medicine in fighting coronavirus. And I've said that we are not against use of herbal medicine in treating coronavirus, but we want our herbal center, scientific research center in Mampong and KNUST to look into the plants that people are alleging have some properties for coronavirus, so they can quickly test them to see whether they really have something for coronavirus. And if it happens, it will be good for Ghana because we would have our own production centers in Ghana producing medicine for it. We are never against the production or the use of herbal medicines in our health sector, but we need it to be done scientifically, proven, to know toxicity level, to know efficacy level, to know what duration to take it, and then the rest. This is what we want, and we'll be happy to hear that our plant medicine research centers are able to come out with something to help the fight against or the treatment of COVID-19.
But majority of the time, when you say you can't herbal medicine na Africa a fever.
Your line today is. Let me. Hello.
Doc, can you hear me?
Your line is terrible, very, very terrible. I don't know whether because it's raining over here.
Okay, let me call you.
Hello.
Doc and Temenka, and I hope so. Be suited.
Kwadwo
by now senka omoduru hadada
kwadwo
na for new
but send no nchese wo ya de na nko yi a woto ani sai
enye da bia na bofo nkwan mu be de na anye de nso ayitimika na kwadwo opanyini na asem no a wo ka no wo se wo hwa mapanyini ka asem bi se ase wiase afa na nyina kanka bibrim ha de wo pe ba bia ya tested do pa ye Ghana ni abre America tenten ye test am ye boy abaso ne ade wo se ya kwese nipa bi o kan nsɛmtwe mampanyini no nsɛm o mo ka no nye ni nyina na enokre esa se wo hwem dia ka South Africa na bibrim ha wo mahura di kan pa ba testing dia wo matwam 300,000 yes ye dia na 16,501 edi ene ko gina ba bi ni ekoka se ye ne agyeman ye ne ne bobia boje yeso se coronavirus ba ya de na ba testing dia ye ko ye ni mu pa bibirima nyina ye ne edi kan ekoba ne sa de na je se ho no nokura bi enya di wo ho esanse South Africa 300,000 eni o 16,000 ye man ho kra iti mapanyas mo kan se ne ye edi kan no e ho kakra ne de
he was misled.
But I know say a probable lie.
Na uti asema wakan ya wose ne de se wo hwemu a mampanyina na adwen se miamia bi wo ha nya de obebiebie wo mo bi ama ne pressure so ene wo ma biebie ne de ene yeso manfo nko school ene yeso manfo nko infant na ne Ghana ye ono so ko bi wo se da bi ahwe obi asa ho emfa na sa se mampanyini hwe na se Ghana de ne we na bebuan ya ye ni so ten ne enkoya nim ewom se ye hwe obi kutwa ne de mia ekuro de nanso eso obi kuro kra ene eso akoko ni de eti so obi a na adwen so de obebie ne man ato awomie na Ghana mampanyini so hwe de bebuan no wanye no ni so wese iti kwadwo mu nsam ye betwa so mampanyini de na se
Edru woni me believe Africa toda mitimi dwena Africa ho sana ase bibi ya ye me
di ntia
last Friday me ya my wife kratia me for the first time say ye be yeah
adintia de na wo ye
ase ade bia ye wo bia ye mpe
ande o moa
madwen ho amenti ade bia ye wo bia ye mpe ema mattress kura obi yaafo adaso ewu ewo baby ye de backroom ha na yato na kwabra na yato no akoda so
na latest for de go awie
wa bra latest for de na ye papa ne bo no wo fom kura che de okoto no kwa ho no
so frabruche na aba
yes see if abruche na ba nwura na yato nwura ko yefie
me kaka me ni ahwe ade a Ghana and Africa
ya enro ya ye wo ya ye ko hospital e trauma ye won se enro na wo mu miensa wo wo ya na ko hospital enro na ye trauma ye no e wo mu miensa ye wo generic
yes no
eno anya hwe ye nwura na wo kono magu ye mu
esa bibia
e da bia na
generic no
e ye nwura
e
o so ahwe
e ye drufu
e ya asemu ase kura
e ye ase why nkwan wediewie medi be wedi mu amana ji be 2 years so dia chef fridge so amana nya be 3 months
kwadwo na abenkwa na de eza abenkwa de esa ase na edu
so what I say generic no eye drufun ena ye wo de shem finfin wo mo di bi om de fredo Dr. Minta ka kire me rafi
te no ya dantemu
ena ye wo quality organic deben eno wo ho
yes no ne papa
wo de eye papa no se helps in kan wo mutimi manufacture
ya ha maye
wo say enholdi I have spoken to top class pharmaceutical giants in India.
Se kwadwo ena nyame kan no se munni aduaba no na momfa hahan ne nsa yade
when him says se ya me no kase se ya me no kase when him nim tree
oh nim tree
opa go the price se ya
oh se ya ne ya kan nim tree ho asem
Amazon ama fort cra
se ye cra nim tree kwa America
who boa
nim tree ya sisi ya
nim tree we say nim tree ya crampo de ye nua na campus the fertilizer
ye nua
no much drugs organic no GMO na ni fertilizer
Debbie kwadwo tobo
Nigeria 40 what
you confuse me ye nim tree ya
wo ho ye nim tree and we 3 types e ba ya na me say no me to me let me read about this thing called nim tree ye wo mu miensa yɛwɔ kɛse paa no yɛfrɛ no mango
kɛseɛ paa
yɛ kɛse wɔ kuroma no yɛfrɛ no mango nim tree ɛna yɛwɔ the dwarf
tietia no
ɛna wɔwɔ the slim tree nim tree
ɛnde ɛkyɛngelenge
ɔwɔ sɛ baako bi hɔ ne nan no asiwa ne nan no nketenkete ɔno ɔnyɛ kɛseɛ ɛna yɛwɔ nim tree no a wɔn sɛ ɔmo sisi wɔn nketenkete ɔnyini nkɔ baabi
ɛno ne dwarf no
all these three types of nim tree no ɛna wokɔ Amazon a ne boɔ wontumi ntɔ because yɛkra kɔ America
nim tree ɛtɔn no Amazon
tobo
me kɔ me fie a metwa bi abɛkyerɛ yɛtwitwa bi gu me fie na anim
wonim bitter leaf
yɛtwa gu
wonim bitter leaf
bitter leaf
bisa Nigeria for say why so ɔmo te hɔ na France na Sweden exporting wɔn fa nim tree from Nigeria to Sweden and France bisa wɔn
Debio ɔmo fa nim tree ne di free hen fa
Nigeria
no ɔmo de kɔ Sweden
ɔmo de kɔ Sweden ne France why
bitter leaf no
bitter leaf
yeah
okay
bitter leaf yeah
Ghana nim tree
ye didi agro yes America for citizens akwa to get a nim tree
na me de ade bi kyerɛ ako maame bi a wɔ so wɔ Italy na nim tree ya wo punu ye ɛne wɔnom bie
okay
wɔ se wɔkɔ ayaresabea na yɛse wɔanya coronavirus se wɔkɔ yɛse ɛkɔ
wonim guava
ya ne ne kwada so ya tia
wonim say ye why ne hono no omo why ne hono no from your friend says Papua New you can say Papua New Guinea omo why dua ne hono na abono no ye why free ho abena no e free ho e de ko Europe
na government wey dey emphasize was so no na haban no so kra ye number 1 fertility medicine. Yes.
Enti denti na yen kan kire yem biem. Okay. We si mi wedro, we su maso dae, we si manya edro, we si me nana ka we kire me, we si ma yesi, simple. Ye biem a nipa bebre beba, but then yehwe. Dankas African country. Te say Ghana, te say Nigeria, te say Ivory Coast ye je ebibidro di paano. Ye ka say Mampon Center for Plant Research ne de ben. Wow, feel say we were a drone bi wo no. Fabra na yen hwene hu say enya poisonous.
Ekwadwan de o medical be kan. Me kai say
there's a difference between there's a difference between me catch that was say bra and then we ba obehu me.
Wo so manya be 41
na emi ntwa walu na me chew say nipa ni bi di bi ko enya fe na ebefa mampon enya aye de afa ho dada kra ma omaje atumu a omde ye adwuma dada
eno no omaje atumba na nyeko na coronavirus
eno na me chew say wo de ama wo bi nipa no symptoms nyina akọ eno wo say monyi na monfa nka adu ade we se nimtri wo hoyi na abunu ne edesa meboa
eno ano no
afa ni ehu se etimi boa covid meboa enti aduro bi wo hono mo amonye ekokodu ombeje obefa process ni nyina mu ni age ukofie ano
wo de ma menye interview wenwie
ukofie ano asem ne twa
asem pop
ko na mefra wo na memfra wo asa wote ho
because mentiase o
because na no akwadwanya wa na ye ne papa idi nkomo free Mampon research bia wose nipa ni bia ba wo mo so ma so daye wo mo afro
radio so nkomo
na de na waka ne se obi ha wo ba wo se we anya adoa we entos we anketwa de fa we fra we da bi o fra da na de aba
metie se Ajazira boa me boa metie papa na ote Madagascar na o se wanya covid eduru no and the president gina national television so numbi me ko ba bia no was sonic nim tree so sa to the last grade was sonic bitter leaf so scientifically yes was on kwanya me no me yet said e no to the last point wa fa guava ho no was sonic so sa to the last level no wa fa guava leaves na nkasa to the last level and wa fa pineapple teniye
abrobe ye
no wa twitwa pineapple e ho no nye fruit na shimu no
etri na ayin kase no
and wa research ya so no so to the last level and wa can see any
it na say nim tree
with the mamenko amasam ne Dr. Anthony Mensah Ghana Association of Medical Herbalists one president we mu trained from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Medical herbalist.
Yes, sir. Me na me training wo mu. Ye training wo mu KNUST. Doc, what's me nka matching?
Any opening.
What that woman and patrol at to say?
Patrol apomu ye na wonso e.
Oba the other room, yenso yen ho ye pa. Bi je say fie so ye boko.
Patrol mi say line o mu shada nyenti nche won kan ye.
Patrol say say a what me nka. Doc, what me nka?
Patrol say eye kakra.
When the busa form the beche magimi tiatim sa. Madam, banos ebibidro sesi yede helps esa yade ahodo anya covid. Den amo ye fa covid hu sesi ya mri ya ye wo mu.
Yo William, me da se bebre na mentia atiefo so enyina. So yede atuja several times say COVID-19 eba ye ubia oye ayarehwe hu dwumade bia no ne fam dia wo so oye de boa no ejidi se o man mu nyina na yegiso ayeye na ban so etu ana mompa ya etu o man fo so fo ba kwan ya yemfa so be boy ho ban Ghana Association of Medical Herbalists and of course other stakeholders are war herbal fraternity no nyina etu share ni federation no even also after the hours here any minister meeting Emma Nadaroma was okay say it will be a bit to me aboa no yemfamra na yemfa enko Center for Plant Medicine Research na omo nyemu hwehwemu etu sa na mo no tisisi ya ka say any da kwan say na otu mu free na ekono yewu mu no na kopompa betuga mo obi asusu ahunu sede tie Pacho yegusu a ye wa hobo mu na ye se kwan ye be faso anya me na me so de mo papa beba e wo COVID-19
ti samitie wi ye de amakeka niam asie ne de ko se ye nya hwehwemu wo de amakeka sie ne nim
Pacho sanity we do ye for no e wo Ghana ha no on associations ne doso na ni nyina boa no e wo federation bakom na gaptram enti na federation no so agidi no free practitioners no ho ya the akoma minister so etu ana mon papa dia ko the appropriate quarter say omunyo mu hwehwemu enti the outcome na say ebiso ayehwe nim say ba tega na ehunu yewu
mo wo gidie ne say sa covid ebibidro betimi asa
Achame manche o question yi
wada ma na me busa se mo wo gidie no pa se ebibidro no ebetimi asa eye covid yade yi
oh etisa gidie wo mu no e wosoro na bibia ya hwe mu de bibia so ejina erade so tabi Dr. Medro na yakase onyankopon na sayare of course the yakeka bom na yedi akono inu bi ohono mo ansa na covid kra ba no na yede hwe nya wa hodo dada ya ebi viral diseases ni ade afei so ebi immune boosters ebi so juma boa with respiratory tract infections ni ade akeka and we know very well say radibemwa anya hwe enu mu bi ho a ebeboa ebetumi dia so covid anokwa
Pacho muina mo ka bomu na mo ye ba ko pe anase obi ade ne de bae na mo de call ministry ho
no ya hodo the dika the best 33 samples and an federation also the coma ministry no and no chi individuals this so the so aka ho akọ enti nyina no enka bomu no ebia gina nefa bia ya ba ko on its own enti ye hwede ye yakopon ya domo a ebetuma ba in fact we are very optimistic say something very positive will likely come out of it.
No, but sir, as a yegidie minim, I am not confirming the Aquaswa Madagascar, no, but Obi Oho, so why ye be sir. Africa ECOWAS muyet me issue statement at the society wo from the omaye no wo hwe minim say bia watia ebuma beb moden wo hwe the way yes glorify sign drone na ye fi nkofo so de ba as against yen yankase ye bibidro no
already na line mu break kakra na me tese bia ubisa Madagascar de no ho asem
de mi busa ne say Madagascar say what men kakra ma mintiam very good Madagascar drone no buy no Africa ECOWAS kranya Africa Union ECOWAS issue statement at this associate wo ho from yade no and me di gina no so ebusa wo say etoda say dey see glorify broni adro eche ye bi bidro na nhwehwem kra che say no ye very powerful and the side effect no wo form na aye buma bamu ana
abambo de bi ni ho I say adro ye mu no there are standard procedures and processes are ye dey adro fam na eno kra wo mu say eba abrofudro no a ene abibidro no ya na so yekitu bi dantem kakra. There was the definition of traditional medicine by the World Health Organization. Or define here because a drone whether it is explicable or not. And I say I whether the person is able to explain or not. And no one kakra no ma a quine kakra say and only be on more. No quine poor bepa so to me I able to move pa kusi no na ayade kakra. Nanso so be no still no. Esayare na we no nukreni abambu de bi ni ho ahabandro ho dwumadi no etumpon ewo Africa particularly Ghana ha de yemfani agrokura over the years enti yegusu a yepem koso na enim se de tie bia no onyankopon ebebe mama ene na nyina atinya toto wi ama na covid yi ankasa yi de se de yedi kan yaka no ye mu gidi se nyankopon be mane saso
ba me na as Dr. Anthony Mensah. Dr. Anthony Mensah, Ghana Association of Medical Herbalists. One president, now it's no bon komono. Your bon pie say,
be fine. Be
fine.
I ran a back.
What you
do right figures to be drew, never be a twitch.
Madagascar president, let's say, World Health Organization can go to hell or can it plane? So we want to be Joe Maduro tomorrow. On the chrome for no me, no, or Matiapo.
Two maybe no na better.
I also on the on Faho, or non crow for no me, no dear, or Matiapo. And a Madagascar for Moody Kanya, your crans, ye, and independent and Bakukran woo. Boy, in answer so no, maybe the underlining factors.
Underlining factors, they say you will be in malaria at Apo.
Ordinary drone there also on bedroom. Magafuli say on be we trials in
wow.
Na Tanzania for shall see about say do no. Yes, but say I bring you be my yeshim. Meaning say I'm paddy.
Yeah, you shim the back say you shim na say be yo. Yeah, will be. Na minim say be a wo pamome. Na I Mother's Day. Mr. Mamenka kakrebi. Mema emanyi na.
Yebe samba. Yebe Mother's Day will show you so.
Mumu baba be me maybe.
Menka.
Na de anya hwe minimo. Enne dwo obesen fa be wo.
List no be wa.
Enwa kiswe.
Chendi pa miru.
Minchia me mu body. Me body am from so. Nti emanyi na me mo happy Mother's Day. Na Mr. Nyankopon se oba bia opa wo. Na onye bi
nyame mane bi
nya mamenka
baba
Nyankopon mane bi
me da ase
na
medu mic
na o sa
medu
na me wadu me mic wadu me ka o medu me mic
medu
mate
da ase
ye be share
when you ate ase de na me num no ntimi da ase Kobi
Capito
na bibia fa ma say yade ne phone no
Capi bibia fine
na sure
na Capito me challenge kakra ni say Nyankopon wo soro ne bunfu ye se ye tifie ne ye som no na sofo ne bibu afu se ye tifie ne ye nkwa sore
me no
ana
aya na asemi ho a bana me bie ma no ho me kasa te se Peter nti aya na me pese me kasa te se Peter because asori ye no ebinim afa ne se eye o madwuma ye business it is ankrofo no na komode wo mo what is a Pentecost for apostolic for Anglican for Assemblies of God and sorry na ye managing ye what is a one so for be can say come
Sophobia mesra baako bi enano
come
chese de wa frame krama me
district pastor me sofo atakora wi afi kofi atakora wi afi a oye me district pastor no obi otimi frame sase madidi no I catch him say obi the body e bi be che no
that me do chiako
ombre me bia na
because you say be more than
what are you talking about? Yeah, quite sorry, be a wee. Come and I do one. Come to one. Come. Not Matthias, Mike and I do more.
I do know.
Hey, Mike and I do. I would
control.
You was so. You can't so be at you. May catch the wasso. May you mistaken Quacanabonti.
Okay,
Pacho, your book commercials.
Yeah,
indeed. Na mekano
mate
I said I know you see baby the legacy debt and papa ba ko bi no muni papa ko bi no
pama
say yon kwasi asem
so no say
some funkwa
o se bibi say
o se nkrofo ye bo no omu nim ya omu nja no mkodua nkafu o say then your friend legacy debt no kurube so
no first one and a finance a ye then wo every whole chairman one and a chairman
teachers on nim skasem nim
one is kasem de one is kasem
skasem
one is kasem de ni mo pa
on you should bensi bi no ananya
yes
on tintin bisa
no
I say smart catch am san kwa asem no mo keka no
so say ye ni o say bi say no but I want to legacy debt over bia
legacy debt ye di anase ye no
ana brofo na so
kana de ejimi ye brofo untimi nso a me ma ase question dia brofo na benche se alo omo pese omo sheda ye se kada ho legacy de onso mo pepia ban so mo hiska ti omo ye sa na aban hu mo so we kada ho na be omo muska ombo ayi wa so mic njai yanko
okay
ayi wa we bad ayi amanya sa
Rise up and be a star. Strengthen with BX stars. Power. Come on.
BX free and sponsor pharmaceuticals.